And welcome back, everybody. This time not for the majors, but for the minors. They are, of course, still ongoing. And taking a look at the brackets, please show, dear brackets. There we go. We move our eyes down to the losers round 2. We are in the lower bracket, and we will be spectating MrMan against Flopode. MrMan, the American player who has improved so much between round 1. Between the group stages and round 1 of the playoffs here, of the minor playoffs, was able to win the first round. A bit of an upset, one against Dragoon there. But he had to concede against Thrawn in the upper bracket and has now dropped down and is facing the winner of the first round in the lower bracket. If you are wondering why did Flopode win with a 0-2 deficit there, that's because Jackson had to drop out of the tournament.
And welcome back, everybody.
This time not for the majors. That is embarrassing. You didn't hear that? Okay, all right, we're good now. Yeah, Jackson, or Loved King of Star Wars 2, how he registered as, had to drop out of the tournament because of scheduling issues. He was not able to finish the match, and he was also not able to show up on the backup date. So they tried to play the remainder of their match, but he wasn't able to show up in time, and yeah, sadly had to drop out of the tournament. This moves Flopode on now into the second round, and on paper this makes MrMan the favorite, right? But never say never, especially not in the minors, where the skill levels fluctuate heavily based on daily form as well as on the amount of practice that they did. And I know that Flopode is a very cerebral player. He likes to think about things, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table today. Now let's see what they will ban and pick for this one. We have Flopode as the low seed player with the first and last ban. And maybe tell them to. So that they don't wait for me to say something. Okay, and it's Naboo, actually. Bothawi. Here, Naboo. There's Bothawi. And then Flopode has another one. Geo, actually. Oh, that's interesting. Very uncharacteristic for the minors that we see a Geonosis ban. Interesting. But at the same time, if you expect your opponent to be good on that map, why not get rid of it? Wait, maybe just update the overlay. Yeah, this time I don't have somebody commentating with me. Wait, I have a DM. Maybe that is somebody. No, it's not. Okay. So this will take a little bit longer than usually. We had Naboo. We had Bothawi. And finally, we have the Geonosis ban. As for the first map, we are gonna see Castle. Sky Guy banned that in the last match that we broadcasted, but this time we will see the map. Flopode opening with Castle and MrMan answering with the Empire pick. In the majors, you would probably see a Rebel pick, but we are not in the majors, so everything is possible here. Rebels, harder to play, but also probably the more effective faction on this map. So this might actually be a mistake for MrMan if Flopode knows how to extract the most out of the Rebels on this very map. Now, the players have accepted, and I think we have nothing more to say. If you have been following this tournament a little bit, you know the basic layout of the map. A mine in each corner. On the left side you have a mine with a turret. On the right side you have pirates. Maybe we will see some IPVs, so that always makes me happy. But for now, let's wish them good luck and have fun, and give them the countdown. One thing you might notice is that we actually deactivated the in-game music for the streams completely. Apparently, the algorithms that Twitch employs to mute parts of your streams because of copyright has become, well, better. Is that the right term? Worse for us because we had some muted parts in matches where we had really, really quiet background music, just the in-game music. And it still gave us copyright issues with the Star Wars music. It seems fine to me. I mean, it's a bit choppy, but the ping is fine. Ping is the most important thing. Yeah, ping is totally acceptable. And yeah, back to the copyright thing. So we will now, for now, go without music and then reevaluate what we can do to prevent that issue from happening. Looking at the map, pretty interesting. Flopode is not going for his base mine, but rather saying the pirates are more important right now. So maybe he will try to build something, but he needs to be careful because the TIE fighters are already coming in there. On the middle left side, he's sitting on the mine, but he's not building it. He does have the money, but he is... Oh no! Do you see that? Right here? There's nothing. Ah, he must have seen the TIE fighters, right? Why did he click anyway? Oh, big blunder. Mr. Flopode. Such a shame. Throwing away 850 credits like nothing. Now looking at the top, he has been dragged into a dogfight, which MrMan is looking like he's gonna win. And Flopode is actually going away from the bottom. And yeah, he doesn't have the money. He was trying to go to the bottom corner, but he doesn't have the money, so now he's instead reinforcing this dogfight. It's looking really, really bad for Flopode. This was a disaster start. He has lost 850 credits in this mine. He has not gotten his second base mine. His first base mine is being attacked, and the opponent's mine, nothing. Safe. Safe. Nothing there. And now he's sitting here. Has 2 X-Wings is now opting to defend his mine, but I'm afraid it's too late and too little against 4 TIE fighters with a 50% mine. These X-Wings are not gonna cut the cake, especially not if you don't close the S-forts, because that way the X-Wings are just too slow to catch up with the TIE fighters to do real damage. Now finally Flopode manages to build the bottom right mine, but I'm afraid that with the reinforcements of the TIE fighters here, that this dogfight will not last very long, and once the dogfight is over, MrMan is gonna go down there and just destroy that mine. Okay, for some reason my chat window froze, reloading this, so if you have said anything in chat, I might have missed that, but now I have it in front of me. Yeah, and as I said, MrMan now going down there. He's actually getting lured into a dogfight here, but he still has a lot of firepower to bring against that. And MrMan must have more units in reserve, right? Either that or he's teching, I don't know which. There's another TIE fighter. Yeah, looks like this is gonna be a very short affair here. Flopode didn't have a really nice rebel start prepared. I didn't like him going to the pirates at the start, as opposed to any of the mines on the map. And as a result, he pretty much got put into a defensive back foot kind of position right from the get-go. And now MrMan is even building the enemy base mine, alright. And is building the middle mine. Yeah, this is just total domination here. Another dogfight, but again, 5 TIEs against 3 X-Wings is at best even, because we have the shield upgrade too for the rebels. And if you look at that, we have even the level 2 mining upgrade for the Empire player. So MrMan is just swimming in money. Yeah, pretty commanding start. Flopode will need to lean back and think about what he needs to change, and he will need to think about that fast, because this is only a best of 5. He has... Take 2 for the Empire. He has 2 tries before he needs to make it stick with 3 consecutive victories, and every loss makes it harder and harder to come back. Okay, what do we have here? MrMan trying to intercept some X-Wings. Flopode trying to do something, make something work here by destroying that mine, but at the same time attacking up here. But it's much too little and much too late. This dogfight actually was surprisingly even if you look at that. Couple of TIEs left alive, couple of X-Wings left alive, but not a lot on either side. Should be a win for the X-Wings now because of the shields. Ah, we have Boba Fett coming in. Where do we have... Oh, up here. He actually defended his mine. Not that the mine would have needed any defense. I think it's full health. Yep, it's full health. So, yeah, X-Wings won. This was the shield upgrade in action. I think without the shield upgrade, the TIE fighters would have won. But the shield upgrade is really only useful if you have a lot of X-Wings. And it itself costs almost as much as 2 X-Wings, so most people don't get it and rather have the money to build another turret or to build another mine. Yeah, the Rebel Shield upgrade is definitely something that in a future balance upgrade maybe gets a little bit cheaper, just because we see it practically never in high-level matches. And it would be interesting if that would instead be a very niche upgrade that you would rarely see, as opposed to an upgrade that you never see in high-level play. I'm genuinely confused why Flopode is not calling GG. I mean, I don't see any money, I don't see any units, I don't see any way for him back into the game, but he opts to play it out. Which of course is fair enough, it's his decision. Maybe use the... Why a wing? Oh, he wants to go up to the mine, I see, okay. But it was envisioned of MrMan, but it looks like MrMan didn't pay attention actually. Boba getting chased down by some missiles. Boom. Taking a little bit of damage. Call that a tactical victory. The Y-Wings have arrived, however, they are in range of the turret, so he would need to attack from the left side if he wants to do anything here, but no. GG instead. Long overdue if you ask me. The game was over. I mean, kudos to him to keep trying, but his start just didn't work out at all. Which propels this match to a 1-0 lead for MrMan. Who now, in the second game of this best of 5, has the map pick, which gives Flopode the option to go Empire if that is what he feels more comfortable with. Which, based off what I've seen with Rebel so far, I would assume, and what I've seen from him in the group stages, I think he's a player that would need a bit more time with the game before he's fully comfortable with Rebels. But I think he can do a lot more with Empire, so I'm looking forward to that. MrMan. MrMan. Okay, let's not send that. We have Endor. Empire, yeah, no surprise there. Let's update the overlay. Endor and Empire. Yeah, Endor is a map that is very doable with Empire in the minors, from what we've seen so far. You have the nebula in the middle, which is an iron nebula, depleting the shields of the X-Wings. So that is very nice for the Empire, of course. Usually the Rebel player just doesn't want to go in there. Build a turret and just forget about it. Just don't let the Empire player have a mine there. That's all I want, but never go in there. And then the map is pretty small. So the speed disadvantage that the TIE fighters bring to the table is not as severe as opposed to on a big map, like Coruscant, for example. Now, Endor, good luck and have fun. Let's see whether Flopode can bounce back in this second game of this best of 5. Alrighty. Ping is fine. Bit choppy at the start, but it resolved itself later on, so that's fine. Yeah, ping is still fine. It says 500, but that was not 500. Sometimes the numbers are a bit high at the beginning too when it's choppy, and then it gets better. Looks like MrMan wants to build a turret, and looks like MrMan is not going straight for the Empire base mine, but rather going to the left. So a bit of a deviation from what we have seen before from Ormila, who went above everything, right, towards the Empire base mine. MrMan, on the contrary, goes for the bottom side of the map more, is now going into the nebula pretty much at the same time as Flopode arrives there. Should be able to build the turret in time if he opts to click it. He is not going to click it right now, maybe the left side one. Now, looking at the Empire base mine, we see there's no turret. This is something that will come into play later once MrMan decides to attack it. I agree with this. Flopode, you should just throw a couple of TIE fighters in there, because inside the nebula is a very bad place for the rebels to be dogfighting in without their shields. And oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we have enhanced shielding upgrade level 1 when fighting in the nebula. So the upgrade does pretty much nothing in the nebula. Of course, it does something in the dogfight down here, so it's not all in vain, but yeah, it's a weird combination, trying to fight in the nebula and then getting the shield upgrade over the laser upgrade. Both players not really attacking the enemy base mines. Even if you look at the minimap, there's not really something going on. MrMan now finally moving over at a very late point in time in this game, and Flopode going to the bottom right side. I hope he remembers that this mine can actually be shot at from the station. All that MrMan needs is vision. Calls in a couple of X-Wings now instead on the top left side, so no vision on the top right side for him. But a lot of firepower here because there is no turret defending it. So these 3 X-Wings will be sufficient to destroy the base mine. Dogfight in the middle still going on, and dogfight on the bottom also still going on. Looks to be pretty even so far. And wow! Flopode has the balls and is trying to build that mine. And if MrMan doesn't pay attention, that can totally work. Weapons upgrade now for the rebel side, and mining upgrade for Flopode, who now controls the middle and is sitting on 1.6, now is sitting on a mine. It's probably going to build a turret too, I would assume. Oh, I was a bit late with the camera there, but yeah. The station's turbo lasers are really, really strong against mines. So the only way this mine pays for itself is if the rebel player doesn't ever check it. Well, he did check it, and the mine is dead. Oh, Flopode actually finally builds the laser turret. I think that's a good investment. Again, we lose vision of the mine in the center. Okay, we will have to investigate what's happening there, because we had that earlier today. And that seems to be a new bug that we will need to find out why that is. It seems to be only for the spectator faction. Flopode turning around, dogfighting, not detecting the mine. Looks like he's missing an attack command on the mine with his fighters there. A little bit of a micro mistake. Yeah, middle mine is going up. He's now getting credits, and the X-Wings are dealing with that. Now, I would have really liked Flopode to build a turret in the center, or leave maybe just 2 TIE fighters in the center, because it's so easy to defend that mine in the center that you basically cannot pass up on it. And on the other side, MrMan wants to build his top mine, I think. Yes, no? Oh no, he built an X-Wing instead. Spent the money, is now just waiting for the money to accumulate again. Big dogfight in the bottom left side corner here. Looks very nice for Flopode, if I may say so. And the mine has generated enough money that he could rebuild his base mine. Maybe send your starting units up there, build your base mine again. Would definitely be an option. Or build bottom. That's nice too. Oh, he actually spent all his money. What did he do? Yeah, Empire is broke. Can't build the mine. So his building queue must be full. This might actually be a huge mistake. Like, if this mine goes down and he doesn't have the money to build a mine again, which is the case now, 440, then this sets him back so much because the rebel player still has their base mine. The proceedings in the nebula are great for Flopode in terms of destroying X-Wings. But MrMan gets the money to build them again. And Flopode has now no way to build a mine, no way to force the rebel player to do something. That's very dangerous indeed. He's a bit lucky that MrMan is actually throwing away a lot of his units there. Oh, no engine upgrade for the TIE fighters, so it's hard to chase here. Ooh, how are you throwing away the X-Wing? I hope this is a starting unit, because this one's gonna die. Yeah, 600 credits for Flopode now. It's a very weird situation. We have the Rebel player with the income, 1,600 credits, but we have the Empire player with the units on the field and with more map control right now. So it's a very strange situation. 680. Yeah, Flopode should have just built one less TIE fighter. That would have been basically everything he needed to do. He's sitting down here now. Can he actually attack the base mine or not? Another nice dogfight for the Empire. This one seems to be a one-on-one, which should be good for the rebels. And MrMan again has to check the nebula. And Flopode actually spent more money. Okay, so he's completely abandoned the idea of ever building a mine again. And that might actually cost him the game. Whoops, camera. Just have been taking a quick note that I can ask Flopode after the match just about his thought process on his money budgeting here on Endor. Has brought in reinforcement at bottom left, is gonna win this again, sitting in the center. Another nice dogfight. So he is finding these nice dogfights. But I fear that MrMan is just sitting on too much backup money, sitting on upgrade for his base mine, which again took no damage. There were TIE fighters here, no damage. How did that happen? Flopode didn't attack the mine, even though he was in the vicinity there. So I feel like in the long run, this should actually work out for MrMan, because Flopode is only stalling. He's not gaining any advantage here right now. And every TIE fighter from Flopode that is dying can't really be replenished.
Enemy space station has been upgraded.
Now all the more that MrMan is actually on Tech 2. So we are gonna see Han Solo, maybe a Corvette, in a moment. He's trying to intercept these TIE fighters. I like that move. That's always a very effective strategy. And with both updates, I think he should even win that dogfight pretty convincingly. Yeah, again, Flopode, 600 credits. And just think about, when was the last time that MrMan was at the Empire base mine? Yeah, giving you time, just think about it. And then think about how this game would look like if Flopode had built one less TIE fighter. And instead had built his base mine. There's Han coming in down here, okay. Probably wants to check the nebula first. Sees that he sees nothing, no mine in there. And finally checks the next one. He's just gonna go to all the mines. This one, nothing. Base mine is gonna be the next one, I'm pretty sure. Nope, it's actually just stopping there, saying hello to the station. Wait, oh, it's very high up. Bit of an evasive maneuver. Sees that again, he sees nothing. Flopode now has the money to build a mine, but yeah, he could build it in the center if he's ballsy. But with Han on the field, I don't think there is a way back for Flopode, really. X-Wing's coming in. Yeah, and he didn't even build the mine. He knows that it's pointless. Maybe MrMan is actually going to build that mine now. Yep, there it is. MrMan's going to build that one. Going to build a turret too. Laser. Alright. MrMan playing this very carefully. He could have also spent the money just on Nebulons and destroyed the level 1 station. Now that he has the intel that there were no mines. But I don't feel like he has the experience to be sure of that, and as long as he's not sure of that, he's just gonna play it safe. Instead, just fortifying the middle, going step by step towards victory, small steps that he knows will work. But what is this? Is this the start of a comeback? Oh no, it's not, because another boy has made a comeback, and it's Han Solo who is coming back to the basement. Yeah, that was bad, sorry. Yeah, he gets the double damage in, and the mine will go up. Oh, Corvette even. But should go down soon after. He even uses his shields here. He's now targeting the Corvette, okay. And we have the concession. Flopode with the GG. It's pretty interesting now casting a minors game after the majors one. It's just such a different pace. But I tell you, the players are having a blast right now because they are playing at the maximum of their capacities, giving their everything, trying to eke out that victory. Now, 2-0. If MrMan wins the next one, he's got this in the bag. So Flopode really needs to step up now. Third game? Not 3D game. I mean, technically it's a 3D game. Also, Flopode map pick. Oh yeah. We play on the Coruscant. All right. And MrMan answers with an Empire pick. All right, I see that. We see the favoritism for the Empire here. No wonder. But again, a bit like on Kessel, maybe even worse than on Kessel. The Rebels are a really, really good faction on this map. It's a very large map. You can get to the middle first. There's a lot of stuff in the middle that you want to get to first. Maybe get that middle laser turret up for total control over all the 3 mines in the center. And wait, he oopses. Didn't spot what the problem was there. And the Empire has just no other way than to, yeah, stroll along with their slow TIE fighters on this huge map. So maybe this is actually the kind of advantage that Flopode needs, but he hasn't been able to exploit it on Kessel. So he needs to learn from that and exploit it this time around. Here we go. Ping check is fine. It says 1000. But this is not 1000. This is more like 100. All right. Both players going for their base mines. So far, so good. And Flopode is not going for the center. So I would say he didn't watch too many matches on that map. I mean, there weren't too many matches on that map, but he could have gone back and watched 2019 tournament matches to see what standard starting strategies are on this map, and getting either the middle or the bottom turret as rebels is considered meta on this map. because it has proven to be very effective. You can lock down the middle with the turret, you can then move on, destroy the base mine, and then you can come back and deal with anything that the Empire player has done in the meantime. He used his speed rather on the bottom left side of the map. However, his early arrival didn't prompt him for a quick build of that mine. He didn't click build, he just went there and is now sitting there. So he again has thrown away his speed advantage in that corner too. The TIE fighters actually attacked the canister while coming in. That was pretty funny. Most of them died, or a lot of them died. Couldn't really see how many. Yeah, but now it's basically what never should happen if you play Rebels on this map. The Empire got the center turret in the beginning. And that can only happen basically if you gift it to them. And yeah, MrMan can be very happy about the situation right now. He's getting money from his base mine, which is not being attacked. He can pump out more TIE fighters in the middle, where his turret helps the dogfight. He can pump out more TIE fighters in the bottom corner, where the dogfight is already in his favor. And he can slowly start thinking about attacking the enemy base mine, which these fighters maybe are for. No? Going to the middle too. Okay. Just wants to clear out the center completely. Which is fair, because as long as Flopode doesn't attack his base mine, there's no really disadvantage if he doesn't attack the enemy base mine either. It's even grounds, and if he's winning the middle on even grounds in terms of income, then that is obviously a strategic win for him. Looking at the upgrades, we don't have any Rebel upgrades, but we do have the engine upgrade for the Empire, as well as the increased supplies upgrade. I feel like in the minors, you should probably get the increased supplies upgrade pretty much always, because your opponent doesn't really attack your base mine, so that upgrade really pays for itself. MrMan now is the sole holder of the center and can start pumping out more turrets, more mines. Maybe build the top mine that's furthest away from the known positions of any X-Wings on the map. And start going for the enemy base mine maybe. Yep, looks like he's doing that. Just don't shoot at the canister, please, okay? That would be great. Flopode now calling in another X-Wing and is... Wait, is he going for the pirates? Oh yeah, he's going for the pirates. Up there. Yeah, I wouldn't say that the pirates... Nah, he realized. Yeah, the pirates are not that important right now. Much better to go somewhere else and check whether there are any mines being built. We need to find out whether there are any mines. Sending in one more X-Wing to defend. MrMan actually going for the dogfight. Now breaks up and goes for the mine instead. And Flopode, trying to desperately defend the last asset that he has, calls in a couple more TIE fighters. Dogfight in the corner here is actually now swinging towards the rebels. There might be a couple of... No, not really. No, not a lot of invisible units. Looks like Flopode is actually going to win this. And he is sitting on 1k credits, so he can actually build that mine. So that might actually be a way for him back into the game. Because MrMan, I think that was a mistake, didn't build anything in the middle. He could have built 1 or 2 mines there to increase his lead. But instead he went down there and didn't build anything. Now Flopode won this and he should just immediately build that mine. Do it. No! Flopode, where is your money gone? There's no mine and no money. What did you do? Oh, the pirates. Maybe he built an IPV? No, he didn't have enough money for an IPV, right? Maybe pirate fighters? Ah, damn. That was a wrong decision. Because now it's 1 mine against no mines. It's even 1.5 mines effectively with the upgrade, 40%. 1 IPV or 2 pirate fighters or 3 pirate fighters are not going to swing the game if your opponent has constant income. That can be a good move if you know that both players have no mines, because more map presence can swing the game then in your favor. But yeah, that IPV, and it actually was an IPV. Yeah, nothing I need to say there. You saw it. Ah, such a shame. But I guess MrMan, having practiced a lot and having improved a lot, meeting a very strong player in the upper bracket, moving down now, is a very tough opponent for Flopode, and at this point in time was 1 notch too hard for him. And yeah, I guess there has to be a player in that spot that Flopode is now in. 1 player that gets what is it, shared 9th place now for him? We will take a look at that in a moment. GG. 3-0 sweep, clean victory for MrMan here. Very, very well played by him. Let's update the overlay. And then let's get the players in here and hear what they have to say about this match of the minor playoffs. So, hello guys. What a match. It was a pretty one-sided affair. Would you agree, guys?
Yeah, completely.
A bit.
Yeah. So, maybe we go back to before the match. Flopode, you had a very interesting journey up to this match, right? You had your match against Jackson, and he was up 2 matches, but he couldn't continue. And then on the next day, he didn't show up, and ultimately he got the loss handed because he couldn't play. So you moved on to the next round. So how did you go into this match against MrMan now? Did you have any hopes, or did you think like I shouldn't even be here after being 2-0 down in the last one? What was your mindset?
Yeah, I exactly thought that. And also I have many problems currently at home. So it's quite a complicated period for me that I did not expect. And I don't even have proper material right now. But it's not old material problem. I'm just really tired, really worked up, and I made a lot of mistake, like on Castle, not going for the 2 base mine and only for 1.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's bad to hear. Sorry, man.
It's no problem. It's just me that can't handle a very tight schedule.
Yeah, it's hard. But I'm happy that you tried that at short notice, even today, made this match possible. I hope overall, even though you are out of the tournament now and lost, I think it's a shared 9th place. I hope you had fun in the tournament, had a nice experience, because that's honestly the most important thing. And yeah, maybe over to MrMan. I know you weren't happy when you dropped down to the lower bracket, but then again, Thrawn was a very hard opponent. So what was your mindset after you dropped into the lower bracket? How do you look at your situation right now?
I decided that I was relying too much on the speed of the rebellion and decided to go with what I'm more good with, which was Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And I had heard beforehand that Flopo was like, at least was good, or like, words. So I was excited and scared.
Okay, yeah. I think that's very healthy to respect your opponents always, especially in the lower bracket when losing means you're out. I think that makes it a little bit more, intense when it's for tournament survival. I think you played really well. You picked Empire, like you said, a lot in this match. And sometimes I even thought that it might have been very dangerous to pick Empire on a map like, for example, Coruscant, which is very big, where, as you said, the speed advantage of the rebels can be really useful. But yeah, like you said, Flopode, I think it was apparent that you just couldn't put in the time and effort and attention that the tournament would have needed for you to be more successful. And that's fair enough. There's no shame in that, really, yeah? So maybe let's just really quick, we make this a short interview. I don't think we need to talk about a lot here. Going through these, we had Naboo, Botherby, and Geonosis as the bands, and then Kessel was the first map. And MrMan, you picked Empire. Were you at all afraid that the rebel speed would bite you in the ass there?
On Coruscant?
No, on Kessel.
Or which map?
Kessel, first one.
Kessel.
Yep.
Oh, I remember that from playing Kessel as Empire before, that I feel like... Was I really worried? Probably not, because I could, defend my base mines with fighters, and I needed the. I felt like the fighter advantage was more prominent on that map because there was a lot of places to be and very spread out.
Okay. Yeah, an empire can spread out. That's true.
So yeah, I felt it was more prominent, or in my favor to pick empire.
Okay, yeah. And for you, Flopode, on Castle, you already said that you felt you made a mistake by not building your basement. Maybe from your perspective, how did Castle play out?
Well, it's just it's the same as all my matches in this tournament. It's just small mistakes, and then I lose control of the mines. Then I can't spawn out fighters as much as I need, and I just lose. That's how it is.
Yeah, it is how it is. Indeed, yeah, that's what happened. Yep, can only agree there. Now, moving on to the next one, it was Endor, and I felt like Endor was a lot closer than Castle was, right? I think that map was open for a long time. It even looked pretty good for Flopode after he had control over the center, and it is very costly for the rebels to go in there, as we all know, with the Iron Nebula.
I made a lot of mistakes in that one.
Something I found really funny is that you actually went with the shield upgrade and not the weapons upgrade. And then
that was one of my mistakes.
And then you did the dogfight in the Nebula where the shield upgrade doesn't even do anything. That was pretty funny. Yeah. And you won the middle Flopode. And then you had like 900 credits. But then you went for building more fighters instead of building a mine. Why was that? You had to make the decision how to spend your money. Maybe explain to us what your decision making was there on Endor.
Well, at the time, I thought that if I build a mine without at least having fighters to keep him distracted, I couldn't build the mine and keep it secure. Like, it just spawns fighter and the mine is gone, and I just lose the money. So I decided to build a fighter, but then each time I got 850 back, I needed more fighter, and again and again and again. So
yeah, like a treadmill. Yeah, I think it looked like that on stream too. Like you were just so desperately trying to keep your fighter numbers up, so you could never really get the money and opportunity to build a mine then again. I think from watching it that you could have built the middle mine and then just defended it with TIE fighters probably because of the Iron Nebula. But that's always easy to say in hindsight, and in the moment, that's such a hard decision. So yeah, but I thought you did a pretty good job in general on Endor. You stayed in the game for a long time, maybe a little bit more, maybe a bomber at some point to attack the enemy base mine. Or just a little bit was missing there for you to win that one. So that was very close. And
I tried the bomber thing by hiding fighters and then waiting to have the money to spawn like bombers, but he had X-wings placed to defense, like it was the lower base mine, I think, and he had the turret, so
yeah, I saw your fighters coming down, so I put my fighters down there.
Yeah.
So you saw it in the vision of the turret, probably, right?
Yeah. When I saw both the fighters and the turret, I know it was the plan wasn't even in action; that it was already a defeat.
You would have needed a lot of firepower to get through that. That's right. I actually should change the overlay. Okay, fine. Yeah. And that actually made me pretty hopeful for the third game for you, Flopode, because the second one was already much better than the first one. But to me on Coruscant, it looked like you lacked a bit of, I don't know, maybe like you said, you didn't have the time to put into learning that map properly. Is that a correct observation?
It's more the rebellion. Like, I'm more used to play Empire at War with mods, like Throne's Revenge, where micromanaging fighters is not that important. It's more the ships,
The big ships, yeah.
the capital ships that count. So I'm not. Before the tournament, I hadn't even played one multiplayer match, and
Wow.
I wasn't used at all to micromanage fighter on such a precise scale.
Yeah.
So it was
I
complicated
learned that the
for
hard way
me.
too.
Yeah. So what I just need to do maybe for the next tournament is just keep playing tournament edition mod and training. Maybe try to play with other players and know their tactic.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, I am a student with a pretty busy schedule, and it's complicated for me, but I need to find the time. That's the only way possible.
Yeah. But I think if you want to play, you will find people to play with you always. Like ping TEM is always the right way. And I mean, I can speak for myself. I'm totally open to play with you to make a bit of a coaching session. Maybe, I don't know if you're interested in that. But usually we find players, even for just team games, mustn't be 1v1, right? It's much more fun to learn the game if you have a teammate who can talk you through everything and so on. And yeah, I would like to see you in the next tournament, definitely. I think you showed great potential. I think you're a nice guy. It's always nice to have a French player because we don't have too many of them. So that's something.
Well, I'm the only one, so I'm unique.
You are unique right now. Yeah, we had some French players, even in my clan back in the day. But nowadays, I think you are, at least right now, the only active French player in a tournament setting. Yeah, represent. Okay. Then
I didn't do my country proud in this one.
Oh no, you're just beginning the journey.
Soviets came out on top.
Yeah. So then I would say we wrap this up at this point. I wish you the best of luck, MrMan, in the next one. Actually,
Yeah,
let's maybe enter the challenge page and see if we already know your opponent. And the page is already, it's the same bug. It wasn't that case earlier today. I don't know why it reverted back to that. Maybe it's only the minors page and the majors page doesn't have that problem, which would be strange. But no, you will be playing either Gamma 040 or against Comrade Mason. Do you have a favorite of who you want to face?
Don't think I've heard of either, so
I'm
Probably
sorry
not.
to interrupt for a second. I need to go. So
Okay, yeah,
good
yeah.
luck, MrMan, for the rest of the tournament. And thank you, Lany, and all the organization team for the tournament. It was a really nice experience. And
You're welcome.
I maybe next year.
Maybe even this year. I mean, if you just keep the tournament viewer role on the Discord, then you will get the ping when there's another tournament. Or if you keep an eye on Reddit, we post it there too. And we usually even DM past tournament players when we know that they have shown interest in playing in another tournament, just so that they don't miss the opportunity. So you will find out when the next tournament is. Yeah. Hope to see you again.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
see ya.
And yeah, challenge isn't loading for me, so we can't do this live. Sorry for that. I don't know what's happening there. Must be their service because the rest of the internet is working fine. So, MrMan, yeah, again, thank you for playing in this tournament. It has been a treat so far, and I'm just looking forward because the matches are only going to get better from here on out. And out is the right word because over and out from my side. Thank you everyone for joining in, and see you on the next one.